So with programs, a lot of the stuff that you're going to be doing to complete them is through Showdown. And now Showdown is a mode that was introduced in MLB The Show 20. So this is the fourth year that Showdown is in Diamond Dynasty. And now I'm a pretty experienced player, so I find it relatively easy, but not many people can say the same. It's a pretty challenging mode, and you're going to need to complete it to accomplish a lot of tasks and programs. So I'm here to give you my advice and tips for how to beat pretty much every single Showdown. So before I give you the tips, I want to sort of explain how it works. So basically you draft a team based off of the Showdown. I'll just do a starter draft. You pick players and you build a team, and then you play games, or you don't play games, but you play missions based off of the Showdown. So for example, the Team Affinity Showdown, you're going to be playing against the Team Affinity bosses. So you're going to draft a team. I'm just going to select random people just to go through this, but you're going to draft a team. Quirks, you're going to draft quirks. They will boost your player in the game. Make sure you assign them to, and then you set your lineup and you play missions. Now with Showdowns, there are two different types of missions. The blue ones, the ones that are small and are blue, if you fail it, you don't have to restart. You just don't get the run to the final Showdown, and you don't get the Diamond Live Series batter to add to your Showdown team. So these are the smaller ones. I don't know if there's an exact name, but yeah. For the red ones, this is an elimination Showdown, which means if you don't complete it, you're done and you have to restart the whole thing. So these are the ones that are obviously the most important, because if you fail, you have to do it all over again. So yeah, that's another thing too. And then the final Showdown, obviously, it works the same way as the elimination Showdown. You have a certain amount of outs to get a certain amount of runs, and if you do, you complete the Showdown. So basically, there are a lot of strategic things you can do to make it easier to complete these. The first thing that I make sure I know is I want to know who that final boss pitcher is. So for example, the starter Showdown, the final pitcher is 87 overall Justin Verlander. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build my team to, go to my strengths against Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander is a right-handed pitcher. So what I'm going to do throughout this entire Showdown is draft players who can hit righties really well. Not necessarily drafting lefty bats, because some lefties are actually better against lefties than righties. You're going to want to draft players that have better stats versus righties than lefties. Now, you're still going to have missions that could be against lefties, but they're less important because they're not elimination Showdowns. And if you fail it, you're not done. So I would prioritize drafting cards to prepare you for the final boss. So now I'm on a Team Affinity Showdown, and if you notice here, every single one of them are elimination Showdowns. So no matter what, you're going to be under elimination, and you're going to have to restart if you don't complete the elimination Showdown. So for another example that I'm going to use, for ones that are elimination Showdowns only, the only thing you are doing is hitting. You're not playing any defense. You're not pitching at all. So what you're going to want to do for these is pick the best hitter every single time. But obviously you're going to want to keep the handness. Like, let's pretend the final elimination Showdown pitcher is still Justin Verlander. He's a righty. Now that you know that you're only doing elimination Showdowns, defense doesn't matter and pitching doesn't matter. So you're going to draft a hitter every single time. Don't ever draft a pitcher. And the only stats that you're going to care about are their hitting stats. The reason we want to do that is because if you're going to draft a pitcher, you're never going to use him in this because you're only hitting in elimination Showdowns. So that's one thing that people tend to just not even notice, is they draft pitchers and they don't even realize that it was just a waste. Another tip too that I want to bring up is when you're drafting cards, let's go back to the starter one, for example, because this one actually has pitching moments, I'm pretty sure. But if you're in a Showdown that isn't just elimination Showdowns and you have to pitch, still only pick hitters unless you physically have to pick a pitcher. There's going to be a round probably where it's all four pitchers. That's where you're going to want to pick your pitcher. But if you have a round with three hitters and one pitcher, I don't care how. It could be a 99 overall pitcher and a 75 overall hitter. I'm taking that 75 overall hitter because 80% of what you're going to be doing, regardless of the Showdown, is going to be related to hitting. So that's another thing. No matter what Showdown you're in, if they have these mini missions, still pick hitters over pitchers. Now this tip is more for the elimination showdowns. Another thing that you're going to want to do when you're in an elimination showdown is obviously stack your lineup with your best hitters because position doesn't matter, but I highly recommend two things. One of them, make sure you have guys on your bench that have high speed. The reason why you want to have guys with high speed is so that you can steal bases and put pinch runners in, so you can basically speed up the process. If you're going to have nobody off your bench come into the game and hit, obviously, why not just put all like super fast players? And what you do is, what I typically do is when I get really close to the end, I like to bring in pinch runners so they can either steal a base or they're just fast, especially when it comes down to the wire and it's getting close and I might actually lose. I like to put in pinch runners because these guys are not going to come up to bat again most likely, and you're going to be putting faster speed on the base paths, which means if you get a hit, you have a higher probability, I guess you could say probability, of them scoring. Now, one last thing that I will bring up for the elimination showdowns, be patient. When you are playing these showdowns, they're mostly starting pitchers. If they're closers, be patient even more, because the farther you go, the more horrible the pitches are going to be, because they're going to be out of energy and they can't take them out. For example, if you're facing a closing pitcher, or regardless of what pitcher you're doing, if you struggle with these elimination showdowns, take 2 pitches every at bat before you even start swinging, because the more pitches you see, not only do you get more comfortable seeing them, but the pitcher loses energy, they lose confidence. The confidence bar is key. When the confidence bar is down, that's when you can start hammering pitches. When the confidence is high, it's going to be harder. But take pitches. You can get walks if you start 0-2, that's fine. You have plenty of outs to work with, but really try to get that pitch count up and that confidence down. Adding on to the closing pitcher part that I was saying, when you have a closer on the mound, their stamina is probably their attribute rating max like 40. So that means that they're going to be out of energy by like 30 pitches max. And if you just take if you take 2 pitches every at bat and you have long at bats, they're going to be out of energy by like the 7th hitter. So that's a key thing too. If you have a closer, remember to take pitches, regardless of who it is. Take pitches. Just do it. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Those of you guys who are new to my channel, I'm Nick from Begins Gaming. Make sure you guys drop a sub, follow me on all my socials. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.